Hugo says, I have a client with a small number of GMBs or Google profiles for their national service area business. The main GMB for the head office is pretty established with reviews and lots of embeds over the years. Excuse me. Is it possible or a good idea to make some GMB posts from the main GMB cross-linking to boost the other GMBs? Is there a way to pass juice between GMBs? Thank you for all your great content you share. That's something I have never tested, Hugo. I swear I saw a post about that in one of the Facebook groups recently, where somebody was talking about doing that. And I don't remember whether they said it improved or hurt. I've never tested that, Hugo. So I'm not going to, it would be pure speculation if I was to try to, give you some sort of a guess, because I just have never tested that. You could test it and see if it does anything. You could always go, the point is, if you have access to the Google profile so that you can go in and delete the posts, then why not test it? In fact, go check out the Facebook group for GMB Crush. Mateo and his group I think that's the group where I saw a post about that recently, like within the last week. So if you go to Facebook and join the GMB Crush group, and just do a group search function and look for that, like cross post or cross link between GMBs or Google profiles or Google business, whatever, you probably find that post if that was the right location. I think that's where I saw it, where somebody else had tested that. I have not, so I don't know, but it if you wanted to test it, I don't think it could really hurt anything if you saw negative movement and you haven't been testing other things. That's the whole point with like single variable testing is and that's hard for us in SEO guys, right? We typically apply multiple different methods or tactics to try to rank something. And unless you're testing variables in isolation, then how do you know which one it was or which combination it was that produced a negative or a positive result? Like, it doesn't matter which way it goes. What did it? What caused it to go up? What caused it to go down, or whatever, in whichever direction it moved? If you're applying multiple methods or tactics at one time, you don't really know what did what. And that's where single variable testing comes into play. And it's now in the real world, there's very rarely that single variable tactics are ever applied, because it's generally a combination of things. But that's where it makes sense to do single variable testing to determine, okay, I did this one thing and I waited for 3 weeks and monitored what the changes were. Did it cause it to move up or cause it to move down, or no change at all? Right. And then if you got one that, like, now you can, once you've identified certain variables that cause positive movement, for example, so you eliminate any of the negative movement tests, or methods, tactics, whatever you want to call them. And then you've only kept the positive ones. Now you start making combinations, which is how I developed my Google business, SOP, the method that is currently in the checklist. Although that's evolved, the link building component has evolved considerably. The checklist that we were just talking about earlier. But the SOP that I have in the mastermind, which all mastermind members have access to, that is, those are all kind of like methods that I tested through single variable testing across dozens of GMBs. And I only kept the ones that had positive movement and then started combining them and monitoring those. And that's ultimately what ended up being all the on-page factors that you see in the Google Business Checklist, which is modules 1, 2, and 3. That's optimizing the Google profile, publishing the Google Business website, and then optimizing it accordingly. And then the Google Business posts, which I do push silos and mirror silos. There's 2 different types of silos that I do. Those are the 3 on-page factors. And all 3 of those it's still the same. That has not changed from a year ago when I developed that checklist. And that was from single variable testing across dozens of GMBs. Then it was the off-page factors that I moved to next, that has evolved. The checklist is a bit outdated. Not that those methods won't still work, but I've found better methods, which is what I teach in the mastermind. So anyway, go check it out, Mike. Or excuse me, Hugo. Go check it out, Hugo, and see in the Google Business Crush. The GMB Crush group is, I think, where I saw that. And then, like I said, you can always test and see if you identify any negative or positive movement. And if you see anything negative, you can go in and delete the post, provided that those are the only changes that you made. If you did other things at the same time, then you can't say, oh, it was cross-posting Google businesses that caused a, positive or negative movement if you're doing other things at the same time, right?